All right, everybody, this is Clint Arthur, and I'm joined today for a special spotlight video on one of my big superstars of celebrity launch pads. Get on TV, change your life, be more, do more, have more experiential, transformational program. Dannie DeNovo. Dannie, thank you so much for making yourself available here on your holiday and joining us on this recording.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here with you, Clint.
All right. Yeah. Good answer. And you're looking good. You're looking so much better than when I first met you. How long ago did we first meet?
It was late January of 2019.
Little less than a year ago.
Yeah.
And I remember you applied for Celebrity Launchpad and you said to me, I've done a lot of things, Clint. I've done a lot of programs. I've been gone to a lot of seminars. Is this really going to work? Is that a true statement right there?
Yeah, I think it is. I don't know if I worded it exactly that way, but I was hinting at what are the odds of this being successful for me.
And what did Clint say?
You didn't seem highly optimistic. With me, you said that I wasn't the worst case you'd ever helped, but that it was possible if I worked hard.
Right. I looked at your book cover and I was not impressed with your book cover. In fact, as a special bonus for you when you enrolled, I made you a new book cover.
You did.
Which I thought would be more successful. And then you see the way the Celebrity Launchpad works. For those of you who are watching, you don't know, Celebrity Launchpad is a done with you experience. I have a members area where you watch some training videos to get a basic understanding of TV. And then I do a one-on-one consultation to create a segment for you, what you're going to talk about on TV. And when we did our segment together, I created something. What was the segment I created for you, Dannie?
My first segment was, is your loneliness killing you?
Is your loneliness killing you? Little did I know back in, this was what, like February, I did this for you. Little did I know that in February, the world would soon be turning into a much lonelier place.
Yes.
And what happened when I created that segment for you and I created a new book cover for you? And what happened?
Well, I'm going to take credit for the title of the segment because it was my idea.
Yes, it was. That 100%. You came to me with a bunch of different ideas, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. And out of all those ideas, I said, that one about loneliness. I like that one about loneliness.
You did like that, yes.
That sounds good. Yeah. Hey, look, you've been a great student. I'm not taking all the credit. I'm making this video because you deserve so much credit. And you, unlike a lot of people who come to me and they say, oh, I'm going to be your best student. You should give me a discount because I'm going to give you the greatest testimonial. You didn't do any of that. You just showed up and did the work. And if people are willing to show up and do the work and do what Clint says, then you're going to get results. We did our one-on-one consultation. I made you a new book cover. I expanded your idea of, is your loneliness killing you? Created that segment. I created the pitch for you. And then what happened?
You said, go ahead and start calling some places. And if you get booked anywhere, or you said, if you happen to get booked anywhere, send me a text message. And I said, okay. And I got booked on 2 shows within, I don't know, a week or a week and a half. And I texted you, and your text back to me was, you got to be kidding me. You booked yourself on cold calls. And I said, I just called them like you said, and I did the pitch. And then your next text to me was, keep going, ... So I said, oh, okay, I guess I'm just supposed to keep doing this.
And what happened?
I ended up booking, I did 18 or 19 appearances before I even came to Celebrity Launchpad. And then the weekend or the week before we were ready to do it, because I came to the virtual event, you dared me to get my 21 booked, which I did before we sat down on our first day.
All right. Well, I'm going through this here. I'm going through my text messages right now.
Okay.
And here we go. Let's see. Friday, January 10th. I think I missed the window for the day. You said don't call on Monday nights. I say yes. Am I allowed to do pre-recorded segments, interviews from a box in a station where the anchors are in a different location? I have no idea what that second question means. Who is asking? For the second question, WSAZ in Charleston, West Virginia. Just say yes to anything a producer asks you. That's what I say.
Okay.
Just say it, hey, I posted that as a meme today on my social media. Just say yes, right? Okay, easy enough. Then here it is. First book, February 26th. That's what it says. Boom. Now turn it in. I said, now turn it into a regional media tour. Let's take a look at this one that you booked as your first segment. This was actually
this wasn't the first book. It was the first one I actually did.
Oh, okay. This was not WSA. This was not.
No, this is WBRE in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
This is okay, great. This is not an easy one to get, by the way. PA Live is not an easy show to get on. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Share. No, I don't want. Yeah, share screen and PA Live. Here we go. All right. Here's Dannie DeNovo's first actual television appearance.
Welcome back to PA Live. It's time now to get happy. To help us, we have happiness coach and author of the best-selling book, Get in a Good Mood and Stay There, Dannie DeNovo's here. Thanks for coming on PA Live.
Hi, Haley. Thank you.
You had a bit of a drive to get here.
Yes, I came from Pittsburgh just to see you and talk about happiness.
By the way, that's the new book cover on the coffee table right there. That's the one.
It is. And on the coffee table is the gift that I brought her.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
That's a great strategy. Have you been back on this show?
I've been on that show at least 7 times.
Very nice. Let's continue.
Well, I love that. I love being happy. We all love being happy. So I'm excited to hear about it. The statistics are pretty sad about how many people are feeling lonely and not happy.
They are. A recent survey by the BBC said 33% of people are feeling lonely, and women are.
Now, look how painful your face looks in this video. Right? It looks like
you don't even know the backstory to some of this. So
tell us.
Okay, so I ruptured a disc in my back and had surgery not too long before I started doing this.
I remember.
Okay, so I was already in pain. Then I had to drive there. Obviously, to get there. I got there the evening before, and because it was so close to surgery and rehab and everything, I swelled so badly from sitting in the car. I mean, you can see how puffy I look even on the video.
Yeah. And
I couldn't fit into any of the clothing that I brought to go on.
Well, no wonder you look like you were in pain.
So I was in the shower, like the cold water on me, trying to get the swelling down. And between just being in the car and swelling so badly, I was in physical pain. And I remember thinking to myself, I hope she doesn't make us stand up at any point in this segment, because if she does, I don't know that I can support my own body weight. So I was really trying to muscle through it as best as I could. It wasn't the best day, but
hey, look, all of that is all good. That's all story. And that all is, by the way, partially due to your own internal thermostat trying to keep you from moving forward. Okay. All this pain that's manifesting here, this is your internal thermostat of your own mind and your own belief in who you are, trying to hold you back from moving forward to where you are today. And by the way, how many TV appearances have you done since this first one, which was, it's posted on March 27th.
I did 62 this entire year.
62 television appearances in less than 1 year of time. Okay. So let's continue watching this first appearance.
actually showing more signs of loneliness than men.
I think people are even more lonely than that. They're just not admitting it.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you've put together a loneliness quiz.
I have, yes.
Let's take a look at it. And you at home, do this in your head and figure out which ones you're saying yes or no to, and then we'll tell you the results at the end.
Right, because you may be lonely, but you might not even know the extent of that loneliness. So some ways to figure that out are, do you spend too much time by yourself? And while you're doing those things, are you unhappy doing so many things by yourself? Are you lonely with other people around you? And you really need to pay attention to this one, because you may be spending time with people who are actually sucking energy from you instead of giving you energy.
Okay.
Do you find it hard to make new friends? Or have you lost touch with old friends? And the real question here is, do you feel like you have anyone that you can share life's experiences with? Do you feel cut off from your family or even your community? Do you feel like there's anyone that you can turn to when you need help?
By the way, what's all that clicking noise? Is that you hitting the microphone for some reason?
I don't know. It shouldn't have been. They did the sound test and everything and had me move around, but it could be.
We'll see when they cut back to you.
Okay.
And when you are around people, do you feel like you have nothing in common with those people? Again, these people may be stripping you of energy. And do you spend more time on Netflix or on television or talking to Alexa than you do actually communicating and connecting with real human beings?
I love Alexa, but she has an attitude.
She does sometimes.
So that's the quiz. Now the results.
Oh, that's what the problem is.
If you
see that? The problem is that you're wearing a necklace and the necklace is hitting the microphone.
Okay.
Okay? That's why I always tell women, don't wear jewelry.
Yeah, I stopped doing that.
one yes.
Yes.
That means you're a human being.
You're just a human being.
So you're
yes.
not a robot.
We're all
Very
lonely
good.
sometimes, yes.
And then if you had 2 yeses, that means you might be in danger.
You could be.
And 3 or more yeses means your loneliness might be killing you. So that means it's probably time to take action. One thing they can do is probably read your book. What do you talk about in your book?
Well, I talk about my experience with loneliness and depression. So it all started out, I was making dinner one evening and I was stirring a pot, just sort of on autopilot, thinking about the day. And my baby at the time was on the floor and she had a bowl and a spoon and she was playing with it. And I just glanced down and she looked up at me and grabbed her bowl and started stirring just like I was.
Oh.
And her eyes got really big and bright to say, look, Mommy, just like you.
So cute.
And for a second, I was so proud because it was just like Mommy. But then I had this wave of nausea hit me because I realized she was copying me. She was doing everything exactly the way that I was doing it. And she was going to end up living a lonely and depressed life because she was learning that from me. So I knew at that point in time, my purpose had to be becoming happy and fulfilled so that I could teach that to her.
Wow.
So that's the reason for writing the book. And the book is about my journey and the things that I did to switch from loneliness and depression to a happier lifestyle.
Wow, that's a really nice way to do it, to be a role model for your kids and other people in your life. Now, what I like about your method is you actually have things people can start doing today to make them feel happier. So let's take a look at some of the things you recommend. So explain this first one to us.
Yes, so the acronym HAPPY, you start with H. And H means hit yourself to new things. Really go out and start exploring life again. New people, new ideas, new hobbies, new interests. Take time and just explore and have a good time with it. The A in HAPPY stands for appreciate. This is just some good old-fashioned gratitude. You can find good in just about anything if you look for it. And when you feel grateful, you feel happier. Those emotions are attached to each other.
Wow.
The first P stands for prize yourself. You really need to learn how to start loving yourself. Because when you love yourself, when you really like yourself, you don't mind spending time alone with yourself. But also, when you love yourself, you're going to attract people to you because they're going to like what you like about yourself. The second P is find your purpose, just as I just explained with my daughter. A purpose in life is a game changer. You have to find that passion in life again. What is your purpose? And the Y in HAPPY stands for you, because you're the only one that can change your loneliness into happiness, and you're the only one that can keep your loneliness from killing you.
Wow. Yeah, I know a lot of times people think, their significant other is supposed to make them happy.
Right.
But I have found in my own life that it really stems from finding your own happiness. And then you emit that and other people can feel that, but it really just depends on you.
Yes. real happiness comes internally. If you're looking for it in external places or in other things, you're never really going to find it because you're going to keep needing that next thing, that next event, that next person to keep that happiness going for you.
All right, well, this was really helpful today. Hopefully it brightened up your Monday at home today. If people want to find out more about what you suggest and your readings and keep up with you, how can they do that?
Yeah, so you can find my book on Amazon.com or at my website, which is DannieDeNovo.com. And I also have a podcast called the Dannie DeNovo Podcast, where I talk a lot about these ideas as well.
All right, well, this was so helpful. Dannie, thanks for making the trip out here.
Thank you, Haley.
All right, hopefully we see you soon.
Absolutely.
All right, that was very lovely. And you know, Dannie, you look, that was your first TV appearance, and you know, you got to go in studio.
I did.
How many in studio appearances did you get to do before they closed it all down?
3, I think.
You're lucky you got those. You know, people have not been in studios ever since this whole pandemic began. It's all been Zoom. However, the Zoom stuff is what has enabled you to be able to do 62 TV appearances in 1 year, which is incredible. Now, let's see. This one is Dannie DeNovo in Tampa, October 2017. How many was this?
What number?
By the way,
was it?
Tampa is a very big market. Okay.
I'm not sure what number it was. I can look up, but offhand, I don't know.
All right.
Somewhere in the probably late 30s.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. Now, when you showed up for your Celebrity Launchpad, the way this works is I give you the home study kit. I tell you to go study. It's like 2 hours of videos, right? That's all it is. I want you to watch 2 hours of basic videos. And then we do our one-on-one consultation. I give you a segment. I give you a pitch, or I create the segment with you, rather, I should say. And I do the pitch for you, give you an audio of me doing your pitch and a script for you to use when you're calling these TV producers. I give you my Rolodex, and then you start making the calls. And when you showed up for your Celebrity Launchpad, you had already booked yourself on 21 appearances, which set the new record. The old record was held by Caregiver Dave, you know, who really surprised me also. This is why you cannot predict who's going to be successful on TV. Caregiver Dave, I never in a million years would have thought that he would have held the record for like 4 years. He booked himself on 12 or 13 shows. I think it was 13 before he came to Launchpad, and you booked yourself on 21 shows by the time your Launchpad was over, because you booked 2 of them during Launchpad because you wanted to get to 21. So I congratulate you on that. And let's take a look at this big Tampa one. This is a big market. I think they're like, do you know what number they are?
No, I don't.
All right. They're like in the 20s. It's pretty good.
Welcome back to Bloom. Are you wondering why obsessing over your pumpkin spice latte is making you anxious? Joining us to discuss is happiness coach Dannie DeNovo, who is the international best-selling author of Get in a Good Mood and Stay There.
Nice
I love
cover.
the title of that book. Welcome to Bloom, Dannie.
Oh, it's so good to be here.
Also, we're so excited to talk to you today. Can you tell us about your happiness journey?
By the way, I mean, look at the difference between this girl and the previous girl, right? I mean, you in the first clip, you look so much better in this clip than you did in the first clip. I mean, and if getting better looking is not a worthwhile transformation, I don't know what is. Seriously, because you look the way you feel. And if this look is an indication of how you feel, see what I'm saying?
Yes.
That should be worth all the time and money and effort that you put in. I also love the Zoom background. I really love that Zoom background. Nice job.
Okay.
Sure. So one night I'm making dinner. I'm stirring a pot on the stove, just sort of mindlessly. And I glanced down at the floor at my baby girl, who wasn't even a year old yet. And she picked up a bowl and a spoon that she was playing with. And she started mimicking me. And at first I thought it was the best thing ever because it's the first time she ever did anything. I looked down at her and I said, yeah, just like mommy. Oh, and then I just had this awful wave of nausea hit me in the gut because I realized she was copying me. She was doing everything just like mommy. And mommy was teaching her how to live a very miserable and a very depressed life. And I made the decision right then and there that I had to change everything. I had to learn how to live an exciting and fulfilled and happy life so I could teach those things to my daughter. And that transformed my life as well.
That is so cool. I love that story. I have 4 daughters, and you're right. They do watch you, and it starts at a very, very young age. So let's talk about like focusing on future events all the time, which I'm sure a lot of folks with all this uncertainty are wondering what the future holds. What does that do to our happiness?
Well, it takes it away because it makes us anxious. We're always looking for the next thing to fill that void instead of learning how to bring happiness forth from within us and focusing on those things that are really fulfilling and that bring us joy and sustainable joy.
Yeah, so it seems like a practice that we need to think about every day of our lives, and every day is a precious day. So what are the 4 ways that we can learn to live an exciting, happy, and fulfilled life?
Well, I say first, you leave the future in the future. I know we can say the same thing about the past, but what do I mean by that? Well, we tend to live our lives sort of punctuated by these holidays, or calendar year to calendar year. And then we look at milestones. We hurry up and we graduate high school, and then we go to college, we get married, we get a job, we buy a house. And then one day life kind of slows us down in some way. And we realized we were doing one of 2 things. We were probably living without a purpose, which is a recipe for a very unhappy life. And we were doing the second thing, which is identifying those things that are truly fulfilling for ourselves.
So tell me a little bit about your book, How to Get in a Good Mood and Stay There. Do you talk people through how to do this?
My book followed those events with my daughter. It was my journey of how I taught myself to become happy and to stay happy. And in it, I talk about identifying those things that were fulfilling for me, core values, meditation, creative expression. Are you writing? Are you drawing? Are you listening to music? What brings forth those feelings of joy that are sustainable time in and time out for you?
Yeah, this is really great advice, because I think a lot of us realize when we all got slowed down for COVID and we're hunkered down with each other. I mean, it made me on a personal level realize, wow, these are really precious moments. I got to spend, a lot of quality time with my older daughters that had gone off to college and to the workforce. And I have to, so it really makes you stop and focus on, hey, you don't have to do lavish things to have a happy life.
You don't. And that's another thing I say too, is vacation a little bit every day. So spend time with your kids, play a little bit, go outside in nature, meditate, whatever it is for you, because you can't expect to unwind 350 some days of stress in 7 days when you planned your vacation. Take a little bit of time away and sort of disconnect. And again, that gives you the time to focus on what is fulfilling for you.
That's beautiful. So your book is available on Amazon right now, right?
Yes, it's on Amazon.com, and you can find out more about me and the things that help me get happy at DannieDeNovo.com.
All right, Dannie. Well, you're such a breath of fresh air. We really appreciate you joining us on Bloom today.
Oh, it's been so great to be here.
All right, we'll be back with more Bloom right after this.
That was fantastic. Now, you know what I'm really enjoying about this whole thing here, Dannie, is I'm really thinking a lot about my own happiness and what makes me happy.
Are
And
you
I
really?
think, yeah.
And I started doing more of these segments. It really made me look at mine. And that was probably one of the best parts of doing all of this.
Yeah. You're not, is what you're saying that you became a better happiness coach or you became happier? Which one?
Both.
Both, exactly. And a lot of my doctor clients, I work with a lot of doctors. I work with all kinds of authors, speakers, coaches, experts of every different kind, especially people who are committed enough to have a book. And we're going to talk about your book sales in a minute. But I've had Harvard educated medical doctors, MDs, tell me that going on TV made them a better doctor. And it's really, it's really interesting the way TV makes you think about what it is that you're doing, what it is that you're talking about, what it is that you're sharing, and forces you to up-level your game. Now let's talk about your book. When you first started out with your book, how were book sales before TV?
Before TV, well, I hit international bestseller status when I launched it. And then obviously over time, book sales started going down. They weren't very good at all when I started going on.
Okay, great.
I didn't really expect much in the whole book sales department, but I noticed that after about a month of doing the TV appearances consistently, my book sales started going up and consistently stayed up.
I think that's amazing because it has been my experience. I've been doing this kind of coaching. First of all, I'm an author, a speaker, a coach, an expert, and I've got all kinds of books. I've written more than 23 books. I don't know how many books anymore. I don't count my books because I have so many, and I've made a lot of them into bestsellers, and I know what the whole game is. And I tell people this, and you know, maybe this is a shortcoming of my own work as an author, but I don't expect to sell a lot of books. And I tell my clients, don't expect to sell books. People don't buy books. They especially don't buy books from people who are nobodies, you know, and the fact that you made your book into a bestseller when you first released it, I'm sure that took a lot of work. I'm sure you had to like beg and plead a lot of people who are your friends and family to go buy your book for 99 cents on Kindle. Is that approximately a fair assessment?
I didn't do the Kindle. I hadn't met you, so I didn't know that trick. But basically, yeah, there was a lot of begging and pleading.
Yeah, it's a lot of work to not make a lot of money. And I don't expect to make a lot of money from books, even though I sell my book, Celebrity Entrepreneurship, a hardcover full color book for $99 on Amazon. I don't expect to make a lot of money from selling this book. First of all, it costs me over $40 to deliver one of these books to a person. But I just, you know, I say to people, write your book for you. Write your book because that's the right thing to do as an expert. If you don't have a great book as an expert, then you're not doing your job as an expert. And you need to have a great book. And it makes you better to have a great book. But the fact that you're selling books and continuing and consistently selling more and more books every month, as you just stated, that is an amazing accomplishment. And you should be very, very proud of that as an author, because I'm telling you, most people don't sell books. Most people don't buy books. So congratulations on that. Let's go on to this next one. Now, of your 63 appearances, I asked you to please show up for this interview with one from the beginning, one from the middle, one from the end, and then the one with the horse, because I thought this one with the horse was really, really fun. Let's take a look at this one. I talk about ways to make your segments more interesting and more fun. And I thought that this was a really great implementation of the teachings of Celebrity Launchpad as far as how to make a segment better.
Esteban starts right now.
Good morning, you guys. You know, we could all use a little lesson in ways to boost our spirits. Today, happiness coach and best-selling author Diane DeNovo is sharing her 5 ways to get happy along with a very special guest.
Hey, Kimberly and Esteban and everybody in Texas. I'm Dannie DeNovo, author of the international best-selling book, Get in a Good Mood and Stay There. And today I have enlisted the help of my very happy horse, Huckleberry, to show you guys how to get happy. H stands for hitch yourself to new ideas, new interests, new activities. I can't tell you how many times I've had someone say, Dannie, I have always wanted to ride a horse. Well, saddle up, because on the other side of your fear is where your happiness lives. The A stands for appreciate. Do you know what Huck does when I get up in the saddle? He does what he was trained to do, and he does it automatically. And when you train yourself to look for the good in your life, you'll find more and more good stuff will keep coming in. And then you can just ride that momentum. P stands for purge, and this means let go of the past. You don't live there anymore, and neither does your happiness. Do you want to know the best thing about a horse? Horses don't hold grudges. At least I hope they don't, because there might be some payback for this sign on his head. The second P stands for purpose, and this one's really important to me, because not that long ago, I was living a very miserable life. And then one day I looked at my baby and I realized she was copying me. She was doing everything just like mommy was doing. And I was teaching her how to live a very miserable and lonely and depressed life. And so my purpose became learning how to live a very happy life, a very excited life, a very fulfilled life, so I could teach those things to my daughter. My purpose became huge and it transformed my life. And the why in happy is for you. Because if you can teach yourself how to support yourself and love yourself, not only will you be happy, but you will be unstoppable. So I hope you found our happiness tips helpful. You can find more of Huckleberry and myself online at DannieDeNovo.com, and you can find my book on Amazon.com. Bye-bye.
I love that. That was so awesome. I would like to suggest to
Learning how
you
to live.
that you get yourself a yellow riding jacket, because see, the place where this segment fell down was in your costume.
Okay.
Okay. And if you got, you should be wearing a red shirt and a bright yellow riding jacket. Maybe it's like a corduroy, like a light tan corduroy with a yellow collar, leather yellow collar. I think that would be much better. But this is a great segment, really. And what a wonderful topic you have here about how to be happy and less lonely. It's really fantastic. And using a horse, fantastic prop. Let's continue on here. Is this the last most recent segment, or this was the biggest one at the end? Is that it?
Yeah, it was maybe a couple weeks ago.
Okay. And this is Hartford, Connecticut. Connecticut is, it's not a top 10 market, but it's like probably in the top 20 or so markets in America. And I've been on the station. I know it's not easy to get on the station. This is Fox, Connecticut. And I interviewed with this guy a few years ago. I'm excited to take a look at this. Let's take a look at the progression of Dannie DeNovo over a year.
And given that it's the 40th anniversary of the killing of John Lennon, it's probably appropriate to remember a story he told. It may or may not have been apocryphal, where he said back in school when he was asked, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And he replied, "I want to be happy." And his teacher said, "I don't think you understand the assignment." And he replied, "I don't think you understand life." Well, happiness is something that's elusive for a lot of us these days.
Where the hell did that come from? Did he just make that stuff up?
Yeah, he did that all by himself.
See, this is what's so great about your segment, is that like happiness applies to everybody. It's really, really great.
In 2020, and especially during the holidays of 2020. So to talk more about how you can be happy during a tough time of year, I'm happy to have happiness coach and author Dannie DeNovo joining us right now with more. Dannie, thank you so much for joining us. And please just start by telling us a little bit about yourself and your life as a coach.
Yes, well, I really pride myself on helping people see that there's so much more than they might see right in front of them at this very moment. And so I work with people on changing their way of thinking and behavior so that they can really live the life that they were meant to live.
And I know that's something that sounds simple. Executing it can be hard, because I find myself trying to teach that to my children, who are 10 and 3 right now, by trying to model good behavior. But again, it's easy to say it. It's harder to do. So how can you do it? What's the advice?
Well, I think you need to work at it a little bit every day, but over the holidays, I have a little acronym I like to use called SHARE that can help you sort of spin things in a little bit more positive light for the time being anyway.
Okay, so that's an acronym. I assume there's something for the S, the H. Rundown. What is it for us?
Okay, S is for script, and that means flip it. This is the time of year we need to change things up a little bit. Your holidays probably look kind of similar every year. This is not the time to stick with tradition. Maybe think of some new conversation topics, get everyone's input, prepare the meal together. Just do something that's outside of the box for you.
Okay, and that makes sense. You're right, because if you're just trying to compare it to past holidays, well, you're probably going to be disappointed. What's the H for?
The H is for honor one another. You can do this whether you're meeting in person or you're meeting virtually. Sit down with the people who mean the most to you and let them know that they are meaningful in your life. And maybe even say something to them along the lines of something you've really admired about them this year, how they've had the fortitude and persistence to get through 2020. This is a great way to bond and to make the holidays more memorable.
And how about the A, the R, and the E?
The A is for amusement. We need to have a little bit of fun. When I was a kid, one of my uncles told everyone he wanted a boat for Christmas. So my dad and the other uncles went out and found this beat up old canoe and put it on his front yard with all this old stuff in it. And we all had a really good laugh. And it seems silly, but you just need a little bit of playfulness right now.
Right, right.
The R is for recognize the year. We probably all felt a little bit bad about it, but now's the time to feel good about it. See if you can go in and pull out those little good points that did happen throughout the year and take that good with you into 2021.
And lastly, the E.
The E is for energy. We need to up that, like times 125 this year, right? You get to be the role model, as you said, you get to set the tone. And so that energy is contagious. If you're doing things that make you feel good, you're going to make others around you feel good. And you have no idea how far down the line that energy will reach.
I like that. And once again, that gets back to what I'm trying to do with modeling that behavior for my kids at home. Thank you. I didn't know we were going to do it in acronym form, but that always works. It helps to stick in people's heads. Dannie, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We do appreciate it.
Oh, so good to be here.
All right.
All right. Wow. Well, you made up that acronym, and you know what? I believe that you should do the same segment over and over and over. But hey, when you've done 63 segments, look, the reason why I wish you would stick with the same segment instead of doing new stuff is that I want you to get bored with what you're doing. I find that the performance breakthroughs occur when you don't have to think about what to say. You know all the things you're going to say. It's just about how do you say them. And I really think you should go back to the happy formula and just stick with it. Okay. Because, you know, share, I don't think it's like as integrated with the whole segment. And I want you to get bored with the word happy. As soon as you're so bored to death with happy, you're going to invent ways to amuse yourself with your performance. And that's where the breakthroughs will really occur. But hey, kudos to you for coming up with new stuff and making this stuff happen. And what is your biggest takeaway from all of this? You know, what's your big lesson from doing your first year as a celebrity entrepreneur on TV? By the way, you know, you're not Kim Kardashian, you're not Kanye West. I'm not. I'm never going to be. Neither are you. But you don't have to be. What you learn in this book, Celebrity Entrepreneurship, and through this process is that you don't have to be George Clooney or Kim Kardashian or a gigantic celebrity to make a huge impact on your life, on your finances, on your career. Okay. What's been your biggest takeaway from this first year of celebrity entrepreneurship?
I think the biggest thing that I learned personally was when I started out doing this, I was always very anxious about what to say, how to say it, making sure that I was saying the right thing for the people who were listening. And at some point, I kind of backed off of that. And I said, instead of trying to be a hero to everyone out there, how about I just try to be a hero to myself? What do I need to hear? What do I need to work on? What do I see as sort of these universal things that keep popping up? And when I backed off of that, the anxiety kind of came down for me, and I was just able to talk. I was able to articulate my thoughts so much better. I came up with stuff that I never came up with before. And I just started feeling really good about what I was doing and the messages that I was putting out there, which made my energy come up, made me look forward to doing these kinds of things and connecting with the people in television. And then I saw my daughter start watching me and start asking questions about when she could go on TV and how mommy does this all the time. And we went shopping one day, and she said something to the clerk, and they said, "Oh, I guess this is your mommy." And my daughter said, "Yes, this is my mommy, Dannie DeNovo. You may know her. She's been on TV and she's on like every day." And it was so heartwarming to hear those things from her because, you know, number one, I realized she was proud of me, but when I was young, I didn't have that role model to help me build my confidence. And so not only did my confidence transform over there, but I saw my daughter's confidence transform because of what I believed, she believed more about herself. Does that make sense?
100%. And confidence really is the most important thing. You know, beauty queens are determined by their confidence. I know this for a fact, having been a judge of beauty contests myself and having a client, London Scott, who is a top hair extensions expert and beauty queen judge. She's worked with many like Miss Universe type ladies, Miss Beverly Hills, Miss Teen America. She's worked with lots and lots of champions. And confidence is the name of the game. And I say, as a person who specializes in sales, okay, and transforming experts into better selling experts, I know that confidence is the key to sales, okay? I know that confidence is everything. And selling is actually a transference of confidence. So this concept that you've been talking about is really important. And I'm very happy for you, and I'm happy for your daughter too. Lastly, what is your advice to people who take a look at guaranteedcelebrity.com? That's the website for Celebrity Launchpad. And they're like, oh man, $10,000 as a single payment, or 6 installments of $1,995. And by the way, that's before we had Acapulco. I mean, you know, Allie and I just invested our money in a beautiful villa, which we're using as a event center in Acapulco, Mexico. And Celebrity Launchpad now includes 6 days and nights with room and board at the villa in Acapulco. And even with all of that, I know there's going to be people who say, oh my God, 6 installments of $1,995 to take a seminar, even with 6 days and nights in Acapulco, is a lot of money. What do you say to those people?
I say, number one, if you do any kind of research and you look at the real experts out there who not only are just out there selling, but have actually done what they're talking about, that price is, it's actually a deal, considering everything that you give in that time, but also that I know you pride yourself on saying that you over deliver, but you absolutely do. You spend more time than any other coach or mentor that I've worked with. You are accessible. For me, what was really helpful is you weren't ever sugarcoating things. You were giving me the truth, but also encouraging me when I needed it. So the investment is well worth what you get out of it, as long as you're willing to really put yourself into it and really do the work like you say.
Great. I do have as a modus operandi, it's like a strict way of doing business. Over delivering is one of the keys that I talk about all the time. And I pride myself on being a person who always over delivers in everything that I do. And it was easy with you because you wanted it. You know, the people that want it are the people who get it, as far as I'm concerned. They're the people who get on TV, and they're the people who get my time and attention. And it's been a pleasure working with you. I look forward to more. And you know, we could talk about other stuff that you've done as well. And I look forward to that too, but keep up the great work and please keep going. You know, how long is it going to take before you get on Good Morning America? I don't know. Or the Today Show? I don't know. But if you just stick with this, just stick with it. It's only a matter of time, because you have unlimited potential with this topic. Because even in just doing this little interview, I've learned a lot about happiness and about myself. And I'm really grateful to you for all the great stuff that you're putting out there in the world. So keep up the great work, Dannie DeNovo.
Thank you, Clint. I appreciate everything.
All right. And for those of you who want to apply, it's by application only. Please go to guaranteedcelebrity.com, guaranteed with a D, celebrity.com. I guarantee if you come to Celebrity Launchpad, if you show up, you just got to show up for your live event. And that's not so easy these days. I know, but it's never been easy. There's always been an excuse. There's always been people who didn't show up. Dannie, you were at our event at CNN Center in Atlanta with Dr. Oz and Dr. Drew and Evander Holyfield and the Surgeon General. And there were like 40 people who could not show up for that event. And I honor you for showing up in person for that event, but I know it's not easy to show up. But if you do show up for your Celebrity Launchpad, we guarantee you're going to book yourself on at least 3 TV appearances while you're at the event. And we've done 48 of those Celebrity Launchpads and no one has ever failed. So I won't take you unless I know you're going to be, I'll tell you, it would be very hard to be much lower of a prospective celebrity than Dannie DeNovo was when she started. Okay. I told her this in the beginning and look what happened. And if I accept you, just believe. That's all you got to do. It will work for you. I guarantee it. Go to guaranteedcelebrity.com. Again, Dannie DeNovo, thanks very much. And to the viewer, I'm looking forward to seeing you on television